Through the deserts of Jordan, the mountains of Wadi Rum, Bedouins, a cloaked figure, a writer, a 92-year-old woman that lives inside the writer's head, a 92-year-old woman in real life, her missing arm, the girl trapped in a well, professional wrestling champion stainless steel, medieval reenactors, Niagara Falls, the elephant's graveyard, Tobias the Knight, his 4 horses, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, the woman who disappeared years ago, the one with the birthmark on her cheek, Chloe. And Chloe.
What do all these things have in common? I like to walk. It's how I process things. A few years ago, I started writing a story about a guy that takes a walk, and he just keeps going. He's like me, but he's not me. He was having a very bad year and trying to sort through a few things. The book is about heartbreak, friendship, and personal history, and he's walking as a way to thread all these things together. Trust me, this will all make sense in the end. So thank you all for coming. We're here because I did write a book, and that's obvious. But I got a lot of support and encouragement through this process, and so we're here to sort of celebrate that and thank you. But I first want to tell you how I kind of screwed everything up. The book is called The Walking Man, and a large chunk of it takes place of when I actually walked from Toronto to Niagara Falls. I'm having a hard time here. And originally for this launch, I wanted to reverse that and actually walk from Niagara Falls to Toronto to this book launch, which I would have had to start about 3 days ago. And there was a blizzard. That was the biggest blizzard of the season so far. So I failed at that. But with that idea came, or that failure really, came another idea. And so, I have to get my shoe on faster. It's harder to do 2 things at once. So, instead of actually walking from Niagara Falls to here to this book launch, I'm just going to instead just walk during the entire book launch. I don't know. So I just want to thank Fitness. They actually provided the treadmill equipment. This is the Walk Top. It's the most versatile, stylish, and adjustable treadmill desk available. And I just also want to introduce singer-songwriter Arlene Paculan. She's going to be the musical accompanist for the night, and she's going to be playing some of her songs from her album, Everything Begins with Love.
It means nothing. Let his conversations be nothing no more. It was fun when it lasted, it's all in the past. I need to relapse from this trance that you put me on. My patience is run thin and I can't keep my eyes, my lies, and mind off of you. I'm right behind you, hoping that you look back to see what you are walking away from, while I look at what I let walk away from me.
Okay. I thought this was a good idea. We'll see. But I first want to start with some good news and some bad news. The good news is that the book has been optioned by a big Hollywood studio, the big Hollywood director attached. But the bad news is that the filmmakers and I have had a little bit of a disagreement as to the tone of the film. I thought the book was more of a character study, and I thought it'd make a nice kind of small indie type film. But they, on the other hand, took The Walking Man and turned it into a big Hollywood action movie / monster movie. So actually, I have got my hands on the trailer for the upcoming film, so maybe we can take a look at that.
In a world that is increasingly moving faster, one man dares to fight crime by slowing things down, one step at a time. He is a man who walks among us, making the streets safe for tax-paying citizens. He not only talks the talk, but walks the walk. Crime has infested the city.
We're seeing a reinsurgence of some of the gang members.
Kidnapping and 9 counts of hit and run.
Many recent homicides and shootings.
Failed to separate fantasy from reality.
A little-known mafia organization called the, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Ndrangheta?
With one explosive act and a scientific experiment gone wrong, the criminal elite mutates into something even more deadly.
What should we do? Should we just leave? Just run away?
You don't run from your problems. You walk.
As the city faces destruction from this grave threat, one man can't just walk away.
I'm not scared of you. Why don't you go take a walk? So you can see where we might have had some differences, which was just another failure on my part, really, I guess. But I want to set the record straight and introduce you to the story of the book and some of the characters properly. So the book starts in the deserts of Jordan. There's not much to see and there's not much to hear. There's lots of sand and the sun is overhead and it's very hot. And I'm walking with a large group of people. And we go deep into the desert. At one point we stop, look around, and we're lost because sometimes you have to walk around aimlessly. Sometimes you do it with others. Sometimes you do it alone.
I've got it so bad, got it real bad. I've got you on my mind all the time. Love consume me. Oh, and love, take me away to your place under the skies above. Ooh.
Walking is the way I figure things out. There's almost a meditative quality to it. When I was young, due to a medical condition, I was forced to remain inside at all times. In order to get out of the house, I started swallowing little pieces of toys. The trip to the walking clinic was always my favorite. With each trip, I noticed more details. The multicolored houses, the pedicured lawns, kids playing soccer and other sports. I snuck out of the house late one night to go for a walk. I noticed a silhouette following me. The silhouette never approached, she always stayed at a distance. After getting lost, the sun rising, and a missing persons report, I finally returned home. My grandmother was called in and waited for me on the porch, smoking a cigarette. The silhouette returned to her house next door. These two people, the silhouette and my grandmother, would go on to be very important in my life. So fast forward a bit, my grandmother passed away quite a number of years ago, but her presence was always there. I started producing a podcast and set up an interview with my best friend, someone I had never met before. 93-year-old Mary the Hammer Hammerstein. Yes. Okay, thank you. A telegram. So as I was saying, I set up an interview with my grandmother's best friend, someone I've never met before, 93-year-old Mary, and this is a telegram from her. Dear Paul, are you boring these people to death yet or what? You better not be talking shit about me, and you better not be calling me your bitch of a personal assistant again. So I had to explain something. Before I met Mary the Hammer, I became aware of a voice in my head, a kind of doubting voice. A voice that might say something like, I'm sure the performance is going terribly so far. I'm really upset she couldn't come. I developed a personality for this doubting voice, gave her a name, and I called her Mary. But this was before I met the Mary that sent this telegram. Pretty much anything I did, that voice was there. I imagined an entire persona for that voice. She was wrinkly, old, crinkly voiced, and smelled like someone poked a hole in a catheter. She was my bitch of a personal assistant that lived inside my head. Most personal assistants are helpful. They maybe bring you coffee, they file stuff, they keep things organized. But Mary, the personal assistant in my head, had files all right. She had a gigantic cabinet of them. But these files encompassed all of my failings, low points, and reasons for why I was a terrible person. She really loved going through them. So, for example, when I try things like I am tonight, Mary was right there waving a file in my face, telling me all that I was doing wrong. You dunce. Did you tell them how we met? So, as I said before, Mary interrupted me with her telegram. I had set up an interview with my grandmother's friend, Mary Hammerstein. The time we arranged was early in the morning, the sun popping up over the horizon hazy, creating a desert-like feeling of mirage and an unfiltered fuzziness that made my eyes unfocused. A ring of light emanated from her retirement home, a rainbow of one color. The golden color played at the fringes of my peripheral, melted the sidewalks under my feet, played with the opacity of the outlines of the building, and the streetlights heaved at the weight of their being. Everything tilted to the side like I was walking into a funhouse. I knocked on the door, it opened, and there on the other side was my personal assistant Mary and this Mary. We did the interview, sitting there for a few hours, eating cookies and drinking gin and tonics. Again, from the letter, did you tell them about Chloe? So So she likes to keep me in check. After we finished the interview, Mary showed me a picture my grandmother had taken. The photograph was one I hadn't seen in years. A close-up of the two of us, me and Chloe. Chloe looked into the camera and she was squinting and squirming and laughing because I had turned right before the camera clicked and kissed her on the side of the face where she had a birthmark around her left eye. It's quite an amazing picture. The light sparkles in from the top left-hand corner, creating a blue tinted effect, capturing all of her best features. When you see two people in a picture at a certain part of the day, in a specific moment when their guards are down, that photograph can really capture something, a moment that exists in time when you can read the thoughts of the people in the photograph. You can see the thoughts of the people. You can see them like thought bubbles. You can see the emotions going back and forth. You can actually feel what each of them are feeling towards each other. Mary wanted to remind me of one other thing in her telegram. You have a lot of ground to cover in how much of a jackass you've been. Look, I've got to go. Enjoy boring the hell out of all those people. Mary the Hammer Hammerstein. So Chloe disappeared from my life a while ago, but a specific incident always pops into my head. Chloe, she was the silhouette that followed me on that first walk, and she's the one that has a birthmark on her left temple. I didn't listen to what she really was trying to tell me. It was towards the end, and I remember sitting beside her in my old apartment on my old blue couch. She was asking me why I would not fully let her in. I pretended I didn't know what she was talking about and just tried to remove myself from the situation. She reached out to touch me on the arm, and I stood up and just walked out of the room. On my way out, I just remember her pointing at me and quietly saying, "See, this is exactly what I'm talking about." And that was it. We were done shortly after, because where do you go from there? It's kind of a scary thing to think about being alone. I'm in my 30s. Many people around me are married and have a few kids. My real fear, a fear so deep-seated as to have actual kind of nightmares about, is that everyone just goes away. I'm not necessarily afraid of being alone. My fear is that feeling when it's all done and when they're just gone. That feeling, even though you know you throw out any photographs or residue of their existence, weeks later, you're cleaning, perhaps sweeping the floor, and a stray hair floats into view. And you just kind of stare at it for a few minutes. My fear is that feeling afterwards, when you get good news and you go to that person you'd usually share good news with, and you stop yourself with the reality that they're gone. Or on a nightly basis, I would arrive home hoping that Chloe would be sitting on my stoop, having waited there all night for me, just wanting to tell me how wrong I was. But instead, every night, walking up my vacant stairwell, alone. One of the strongest images of Chloe was when she finally told me her story. It had been bottled up for far too long. Perhaps I would listen, not judge, or try to fix her or give answers. Just listen. She grabbed the black marker out of her desk and wrote her story all over the white walls of her university dorm room. Reading over her shoulder, I rested my chin beside her neck, followed her around the room. The tension broke apart with every word she wrote. When she ran out of room, had filled up all four walls with her life, she pushed the sleeves of my shirt up and wrote on my arms. I rolled up my pants so she could write on my legs. Soon my shirt was off and she finished somewhere around my left shoulder. After that, we lay in bed with our arms around each other and didn't say a word.
My love, I love too easily. catch me with your undying grasp. Oh, I'm falling, falling far away from you. Help me to forget. Tell me to forget the others. Remind me there'll be no other like you. Like you.
I was just kind of tired of things, tired of myself and the person that I'd become. One day I visited Mary, and on my way home I just started walking. The power in the entire city went out. The kind of darkness we don't usually get in the city. A country darkness, and sometimes you're guided by something else, where you make a decision without thinking, but really couldn't make any other decision. Like someone gently pushed me on the small of the back, I walked through the city, reached the outskirts of the city and kept going. I started a walking parade through a small town populated by vegetarians. I made friends with an old man dressed as a medieval knight who had gone AWOL from a medieval reenactment, fought a retired professional wrestler. I helped a little girl who had fallen down a well. Whoa. So somewhere around Niagara Falls, I noticed there was a man in black following me. I was pretty exhausted, so I decided to get a room in a crappy motel. Inside the room, I found a black marker. And I remembered Chloe and how she wrote her story all over her walls. So I did the same. I wrote our story all over those crappy motel room walls. I just kind of wanted it to be alive again. And when I was done, I went into the washroom and I looked in the mirror and I saw a man that had sunken eyes and had lost weight from all the walking, had a scratchy beard. And I just stripped off all my clothes and I turned on the water in the oversized tub until it was scalding hot, and I turned the shower on, and I just crawled into the tub and just sat on the grimy floor of it. I pulled my knees up to my chest, and the water slammed into my back and my neck. The dirt and the filth and the wind and the experience, it all just washed off. I remember just sitting in that tub, feeling alone and small. I just didn't really know what to do or where to go anymore. I pulled myself into a ball. I tried to pull myself inside of myself. I just didn't really know what to do anymore. The water hit me in the back like it was trying to make me remember something, but I couldn't remember. It was gone, all just seemed sort of lost. And I saw myself from outside of myself, and I saw a man that was just small and alone, and he was sitting in a tub, and he was shielding his eyes from what he really needed to see. He was small and he was alone, but he knew that that man in black was out there waiting for him.
Just to remind you I'm still here. Now you're running away with fear. I'm indestructible and you're so pitiful, and I am your worst nightmare. I'm gonna flood this town with secrets yourself. Are you ready? People will talk news about you, and there's nothing you can do. I'm too fast for you to try to catch me.
And this was where things turned around and Mary joined me on the road. She found me at the motel and we kept going, me walking and her riding in a scooter. I want the book to tell you our fates, but I'll leave you with a bit of German Mary taught me. Werde leicht, werde glatt, werde offen. Be light, be smooth, be open. It all started with be light, light on your feet, but light in your heart. And during my trip, we came across a man on a country road. We made eye contact, and when we got a little away from him, he turned and yelled, "Be smooth, man, be smooth." And instead of ignoring him like I usually would, I turned to him and I said, "I am smooth. Be light, be smooth." And as we kept walking, these thoughts swirled through my head. I felt my mind opening up, and this became a type of mantra. Wherever I went, whomever I encountered, be open to new experiences. Be light, be smooth, be open. I walked for a long time and I saw this life rolling out in front of me. I walked through this city, out of the city. I walked for a long time. I walked until my feet gave way. I walked until my shoes wore through. I walked until my head was numb. I walked across the earth and overseas. I walked until I wore out my thoughts and those words appeared, the ones that would carry me forth and save me, the words that brought me back home. Be light, be smooth, be open.
Tis a gift to be simple, it's a gift to be free, it's a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, it'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we can't be shamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning come round right. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, it'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we can't be shamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come around right.
That's it. Hold on. The last thing I need to do is I need to thank a bunch of people. So I need to thank first there we go. Okay. My publisher, Iguana Books and Greg Yanu. My amazing editor, Kate Unruh. The amazing designer, Ellen Yu, who designed the cover and everything. Oh, there she is. Emily Nidobov and Storia PR. The Reapers, Brianne and Zoe and Aaron and Stefan and Wafa. And Aaron, a special thanks for her amazing acting skills and for organizing all the things on the CSI side, and Stefan for helping with the shooting and the production tonight. Brian G. Smith, who is handling all the production tonight. He's here somewhere. And Mr. VIP himself, Kevin Kennedy and Tall Boys. CSI Coffee Pub for the food and the drinks. Everyone at CSI, this place is really amazing. Those that supported the crowdfunding campaign, and someone that was very important to the writing of the book, Waste and Choi. Not sure if he made it tonight, but of course, my old friend and podcasting partner, PJ Kwong, and her wonderful daughters are here. And there's a special person here. My dad couldn't come, but I know he really wanted to, but my mom is here, and she came all the way from Ottawa. So, please give her a hand. I brought her some flowers. I hope you can... Thank you.
Congratulations.
So, thank you, everybody. We're gonna go out there. You can grab another drink. I don't know if there's any food left. And then we're going to make our way to Tall Boys till whenever. Okay, thank you. And of course, how could I forget Arlene with her wonderful music. Thank you, Arlene.
Tell the truth, this could be the last time. So here we go, like a sail's force into the night. And if I made a fool, if I made a fool, if I made a fool on the road, there's always this. And if I'm sold into submission, I can still come home to this.